Following a wild card win against Montreal that had every bit of wild to it, the Five Stripes keep on dancing and stamp their spot in a first-round best-of-3 series against Inter Miami. That's Jason Longshore. I'm Joe Fryhofer. This is yet another edition, a postseason AT&T countdown to kickoff. Jason, for Atlanta United manager Rob Valentino, there's one thing on his mind: fitness. Third match in the last 7 days for the Five Stripes. He changed up the shape in that 11 against Montreal that saw Brooks Lennon, the right back, climbing much higher. Pedro Amador, the left back, on the other side, found an assist and picked up an ankle knock. What could this 11 look like against Inter Miami?
I wish I knew. I'm sure that Rob Valentino and his staff aren't going to be sure, and they're going to probably hold the decision as late as they possibly can, because you're coming off of two very intense physical matches, a lot of pressure, so a lot of mental fatigue, a lot of physical fatigue, a lot of travel fatigue. Trip to Montreal is not a short one. So lots of things that are going to go into this, and the usual, the knocks, the bruises, the sprains, like all of that factors in. So the good thing, if it comes to Pedro Amador not being able to go in this one, or at least go from the start, Ronald Hernandez is back in the team and playing very well. That gave Rob Valentino the ability to push Lennon higher up the field, paid off with a goal. And then when Amador went down, Hernandez moved over to left back and Lennon came back to right back. So I think at fullback, hopefully if Pedro is able to contribute in some form or fashion, you've got depth. It's some other positions on the field that you do have to worry about, that depth and how many guys can go 75, how many guys can go 60, who can give you 45. You might have to see earlier substitutions in this one.
That form for the Five Stripes right now on the road, unbeaten in their last 5. That's some of the best since 2018 when this side won MLS Cup. The lone remaining member from that squad, goalkeeper Atlanta United captain Brad Guzan. He's been everywhere. 5 saves against Montreal, a penalty stuff as well, not just on the field, off the field. What is Guzan to this group?
He's everything. I mean, he's every single thing you want out of a goalkeeper, you want out of a leader, you want out of a captain. Yeah, the first goal comes from Stian Gregerson and Brad kind of getting crossed up. Gregerson crosses in front of him, doesn't make the catch. Joseph Martinez there to pounce. That changed the game. Then you're able to pick yourself up, you're able to pick your teammates up. And what stood out to me from Brad Guzan in Montreal is before the shootout, after regulation, when Montreal should have all of the momentum and Atlanta should have none, Brad Guzan and the coaching staff helped find that momentum. When the shootout was going on, Montreal looked like the nervy team, even before the save, and Atlanta looked like the confident team. A big reason why is Guzan taking that time, being that leader, that guy, the biggest legend in club history in terms of leading this group and doing those sorts of things. He helped change the momentum by going around, picking guys' heads up, giving them that hug, that slap on the back, dapping them up. Everything that needed to be done, he pushed the right buttons, and Atlanta won the shootout.
Inter Miami features the most lethal attack in Major League Soccer. 79 goals throughout that regular season campaign, with the greatest to ever do it. Leo Messi, Luis Suarez up top, there's no surprises there. At the back, their biggest weakness is transition from attack to defense, with goalkeeper Drake Callender making him use their feet. The Five Stripes could force them into situations like that in the midfield with Polish international Bartosz Slisz.
Yeah, Slisz is vital in this match, and anybody else who plays in the midfield is as well. Fortune, McCarty, Muyumba. But Slisz really stood out in Montreal to me because he got off to a little bit of a slow start. Playoff intensity is different, especially on the road. There were some loose touches, some giveaways, things like that. About 15 minutes in, he cleaned it up and really became one of the best players on the pitch in Montreal. Defending when Montreal would get forward. Remember, you've got Bryce Duke, Caden Clark, 2 very good attackers for Montreal. Slisz shut a lot of doors there in the middle of the park. He's going to have to do that in Fort Lauderdale. But then springing attacks, that quick transition from defending to the attack, I thought Slisz was brilliant in those moments. He can get forward and contribute, but he can also hit that ball from the top of the defensive third into the run of Sabo Lobjanidze, into the run of Jamal Tiare or Daniel Rios. He did that consistently in Montreal. He's going to have to do that here because, as you said, when Miami is transitioning from attacking to defending, ball turns over, they don't finish the attack, they don't get that shot off, and it turns over. you're able to go quick because they're not going to immediately press you. That's not where they thrive. They might do it for little moments in time, but it's not what they're strong at. This is an older team. They're going to drop behind the ball. You can first build up an attack if you need to and give Sleesh those opportunities to make decisions. Is it on to go fast? Take it. Is it not on to go quick? Okay, hold it, recycle, rebuild, let your team breathe.
4 points out of the last 2 matchups for the Five Stripes against Inter Miami. Now it's everything on the line in this best-of-3 series. They head down to Fort Lauderdale to take on Inter Miami. Kickoff set for 8:30 through the MLS Season Pass on Apple TV, which you, the 17s, can watch for free for this first match to kick off the series. On the radio through 92.9 The Game, Mike Conti and that man to my side go on the road to make a magical call once again.
We'll give it our best if we have any voices left. We make no guarantees. The pregame coverage will start at 7:30 from our Midtown Atlanta studios. President and CEO Garth Lagerwey will join us about midway through live from Fort Lauderdale. And then 8:40 is the kickoff time set from Chase Stadium. Mike Conti and I will be yelling right along with the rest of you.
That's Jason Longshore. I'm Joe Fryhofer. This has been another edition of your AT&T Countdown to Kickoff. Atlanta United against the world. FEA to Fort Lauderdale we go.